Yes.
So
Yes.
this is basically a web app, and for the employees, so you have the UI can be via mobile or desktop, whatever your preference is. And in this, basically, we have multiple roles and multiple screens. So, for example, the finance team has a screen called finance. HR has a screen called HR. The employees typically get to see the VX pay or the VenEx pay and the dashboard.
Mm.
The
Mm.
managers can have the manager screen to give rewards, and then there is VX reward which gets shown to the employees. And then there is a CO screen which is for the CXO level or for the company level
Mm.
dashboard. Okay.
Right.
And then there are other screens like there is, configurations that we do at a company level, like multiples we give, how much of self contribution can they do. We kind of obviously suggest that it's not more than 50% because then the payouts will have to be significant. And so certain such configurations get done. There's a leaderboard, there are social feeds and stuff like that. And so what happens on the onset is that we typically, for our projects, for kind of creating the projected payouts and for creating, the suggested multiples, we take certain basic metrics from you from a financial perspective, right? So, for example, the average monthly revenue, cost, monthly growth, etc. We put some of these 6 parameters in, and or if you have like detailed financials, we can share. You can take those detailed financials and we can have it more fine tuned to you. And once we kind
Mm.
of load this, we help you understand what's going to be the impact of VenEx for you, right? So you remember that graph? So for example, what's going to be the revenue gain, profit gain over 4 years?
Right.
What's the extra cost? What will be the employee wealth creation? And very importantly, what's going to be the revenue funding share pool you might have to allocate, assuming you are doing, say, 30% or a certain degree of implementation, 10%, 20% across your org, depending on whether you're doing it with select number of people or across your org. So, and
Mm.
a profit share pool. So you can kind of budget for this program, pre-budget for this program, right? And these are nothing but just like, year one, year two comparisons of with VenEx, without VenEx on cash, and it's, you'll see it's positive. And this helps us kind of arrive at the correct multiple for you, because we don't want you to grow out of pocket at any point in time. So,
Mm.
depending on your growth projections, it could be 2x or it could be 10x. Now, once you've kind of done
Mm.
this exercise for you, then at the HR basically is able to configure packages. So, like you saw, they're able to give a current pay package and a benchmark pay package. This is what we seek from you. Then the VenEx powered pay package gets auto computed and kind of gets displayed to the HR, saying that, for example, in this case, the benchmark was 40, the fixed was current was 30 on terms of fixed variable.
Mm.
The platform has recommended 35 fixed, and in lieu of the 35 fixed, they have given 15 lakh worth of wealth points. Okay.
Mm.
Similarly, for variable pay, there is a certain amount, and therefore the total pay is 68 using wealth points versus just 50 lakhs which you would have been able to give. And even when you were doing 50, you were giving like this 42% pay hike. Now with VenEx, you can do a 94% pay hike and a total pay of 68. And the sweat component is coming because you've actually given them less than benchmark. So you've had a cash conservation also here. So 40 was supposed to be a benchmark, but you've only given 35, and 10 was variable and you've given 4. So you've done a cash conservation, so there's a sweat component. And this is internal metrics. And there's for at every employee level, it will also throw out what's the rev share that you need to give. And for the HR, they can see how this is stacking up current benchmark VenEx and how the payout is going to appear to the employee. They can, of course, choose different combinations between a min max fixed pay for this person that you might have, that the system is going to define based on some global rules, and choose and do certain simulations. And once they kind of do this, this will get shown to the employee as VX pay. So the employee will only see the VX pay, and they can see the compensation. So if you notice 68 lakhs, and this is the split. And they also know this is what's the rev share, etc. that they get, and they can choose their own pay. So this is the section where they can design their own pay. So in this case, the person has chosen less than fixed, say 25 fixed. So instead of 35, they took 25, and instead of 15 lakh worth of well points, they now have 45 lakh worth of well points, right? And a total compensation of 96 versus 68. And they can therefore, so they're actually now you offered them this, but they took less cash. You got more cash to invest in business, and they got a higher salary package. And they can also see their estimated payout because the projections are input into this. Right, so they can therefore run different simulations and finally choose a package. Once they have that, there's also a dashboard which allows the employee monthly to see kind of not one yeah. So this is where the actuals get displayed to them. Well, like every month we let them know what's the wealth point that they have added, what's the sweat bonus that's accrued, and what's the and been paid out, and therefore what's the wealth point balance. And if all goes well by 16th quarter, which is about 3, actually here, they basically should get fully paid out. Their 12 point balance should come down to 0. Right. So this is so they get to see actuals and they get to see projected, and they see like what's the company's wealth point contribution, what's their self contribution if they have done any, and so and so forth. What's the sweat bonus accrued, and at any point in time using this screen, they can further contribute. So they can design their pay also. So if after 1 month or 2 months or so they feel like there's credibility building and they want to contribute, they can do that from their pay package even then, and kind of have a similar simulation seeing this is current. If they revise it further on, what would happen and how that would impact the simulation. So this is with respect to all the pay package. Then there is a manager screen which helps you allocate your rewards. So you get this cash and wealth point budget, and you've allocated it to the team. So it's telling you what's your balance remaining, how much rewards you've given and to whom, and you can always go and change. So this is the distribution of rewards for your team members. You can go and change it at any point in time, and you can also put in you can change the budgets, the rewards for any person, and you can put in a certain message to acknowledge that. And all of this gets displayed to the individual in the VenEx reward screen. And similarly, there is also CEO. The CEO dashboard is very similar to the individual dashboard. And then there are things like leaderboard where you can see the total wealth creation and how people are stacking up, and that can help you drive more productivity because you can, yeah. So that's the thing. And the feed is where the public feeds where you're congratulating people for whatever work they have done. You may not share the how much rewards you've given, but just a acknowledgement of of any sort in that.